Now I'm going to interview The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Alright, so this book, I think, is super famous and a lot of people are aware of it, but in case you aren't, he's basically kind of talking about how to create a job that will help you make your own income and escape the rat race, but not take over your life like most people who become entrepreneurs or start their own businesses. It's like their business takes over their life. Now, I think this 4-hour work week stuff is an extreme exaggeration. I don't know that he can really pull it off. He might have done it for a little bit, but I bet he had a lot of stuff he had to pick up the pieces after when he came back to working more often. But I do think the concept is good of, instead of just focusing 100% on making money and letting the business take over your life, instead focus on creating it in such a way that you have free time, freedom. You can do what you want with your life. So based off all the other people that I've been studying who have started businesses and create their own money and whatnot, it seems like maybe a 4-hour workday might be a more possible scenario. I'm really thinking this 4-hour work week just seems like fantasy. Like, I know he's talking about Pareto's principle and whatnot, but man, there's got to be a limit to how much you can outsource and not have to do because it's not part of the 20% that generates the 80% of profits. But 4 hours a week is pretty limited. But even if you could like do a 4-hour work day, that would make you a whole lot more free than you are working a normal job. Plus, if you made it so that it was something you were even remotely interested in, I think it would be more rewarding during the time you were working. So I think you could employ the concepts here to make something more realistic where you create your own income and it doesn't overtake your life like all these other entrepreneurs and small businessmen work 60, 80, or even more than that hours a week, which is just insane. If you read a lot, you're probably well familiar with Pareto's principle. I've heard it a lot of times since I began reading, but this is the first book where I was introduced to that concept, and my favorite thing I took out of this book, there was like this guy back in the day, and he noticed how like 80% of his peas came from only 20% of his pods, and then he started looking around and he was seeing this ratio all over in the world. And so in business, that kind of is like 20% of what you do contributes to like 80% of your profits. So if you spend more of your time focusing on that 20% and less on the 80% that hardly does anything, it's much better use of your time. And it goes a lot of different ways too, like 20% of your customers generate about 80% of your income, so those are the ones you should focus on. And like 20% of your customers in general will do 80% of the complaining and hassles and problems, so those are the customers you should think about sending off to your competitors because you don't need them to drain you of your energy and time. So I like that concept a lot. I feel like maybe this book is kind of overrated, but and also that maybe technology moves so fast that it's kind of outdated already. But the nice thing is he does have a website, so I'm sure he's updating stuff all the time, so that's good. I would say this book is worth your time perhaps, but that there's a lot of really good books, so there might be stacks of other books I'd read first, but that's my take on it anyway. So once again, 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss.